What's going on, boys? Thanks to our patrons and Fiverr customers, subscribe to our Patreon free for behind the scenes stuff. Arm yourselves, life stuff. Continuing our run of whatever videos. Post Valentine's Day, thinking about love songs and the different ways one expresses love or engages in love. I think the way most love songs approach love says or explains why one might be or grow to be hesitant about love in general. If you were to diagram the flow of love, not just in love songs, but in the way people tend to engage in love, it's never an expression. It's always something you would need a diagram for. I love you is the most basic, purest expression of love in my eyes. But it's never just I love you. It's always another step. It's I love you, you love me. And by tacking on that second part, you change the dynamic, the expression of love entirely. It's not an expression anymore. It's an assertion. And thinking about it, it's coercive. It's not enough for you to have your feeling and to share it with someone. You need to have that say it back element. And at that point, it's no longer a feeling, it's a transaction. You are adding conditions for another person to your feeling. It's never I love you, it is I love you as long as you do something for me that I'm saying you're doing, but I don't know whether or not you're doing. I'm not asking you how you feel. I am telling you what you should feel by asserting that this is the way it works. And the screwy thing is, even if you do ask instead of coercing, I love you, do you love me, that's still getting away from your feeling and sharing it with someone. That's still conditional. Because in this asking, you are prompting someone to say they are something. And I take issue with this for a few reasons. Firstly, the coercive or impositional element. Because I feel this, you must feel that or do these sets of things. Because these dumb love song rituals that people then take into the real world, they get complicated fast, and it's no longer about a feeling. It's now about these huge scripted displays, which if you love someone, do you think you should be, do you feel you should be imposing all this shit on them, imposing your idea of love on them, forcing them into your game. It's no longer a feeling, it's a game now. The second reason is this self-important shit. Let's say this increasingly complicated transactional game shit is the way you want to engage in love instead of feeling it. Do you think you are important enough to warrant or to give yourself the right to impose these things on someone? Especially someone you're supposed to have warm, tender feelings for. This is mafia shit. This is forcing someone to pay protection fees. And this bothers me because it indicates the sort of person who loves this way. And the number of songs and stories that operate with this sort of love indicates it's a lot of people. For you, it's not about loving another person. It's about, for you, it's about finding an actor you think is perfect to play this part in your movie. And through any number of means, you're going to force them to do it. And to me, that's not love. And the third reason on this self-importance level is, I think it's a fundamental, I would say misunderstanding of love, but I think it's a corruption of love. When you love someone, ideally anyway, fantasy land, ideals land, of course things don't work this way, you are putting their well being above your own, which is, it's a rejection of the colder, nastier aspects of the world. That's what makes love so beautiful in concept. Can you say you love someone if your love is founded on all these conditions they must uphold to receive your love? Again, that's not love, that's a contract. Worse, that you are pressuring someone into doing it. And then that opens up an entire nasty can of worms. Alright, if this is a contract, then what are you bringing to the table, loser? And once you're there, why even bother? And in this, there is a distinction between love and relationships. In relationships, you do need some understandings, some more than others, some less. Relationships are important, but love and relationships are not mutually exclusive. And again, in my opinion, if you want to do relationships, then you need to be operating as close to love as you can realistically. The point to understand here being, the more conditions you tack on, the less love it is. And everything is conditional, so thinking about it, maybe the idea or feeling of love should activate only once all those conditions have already been met. Once you're in, it shouldn't be a contract negotiation or a set in which actors are playing parts. You ever noticed the way most male love songs are depressed? I think that's a result of how pushy most woman love songs are. There's one particular pattern I keep seeing in woman type love songs that bugs me to no end. The primary subject of the song is always some winner dude. The protagonist is some loser bitch. And the antagonist is always some winner woman who deserves to be with a winner dude. And the winner dude deserves to be with this winner woman. They're winners. The protagonist always talks about how great this winner male is, lists off all these reasons, and then demonizes the winner woman for those exact same reasons, and then expects the winner dude to throw away this winner woman and then get with the protagonist, this loser bitch, who does what exactly? Does nothing. Doesn't even initiate. Expects this dude to throw away a good thing with a good woman for some fucking loser. And the shittier sort of male love songs are no better, of course. Little different. We made the I got Fat Nick joke last video. Shitty male love songs are all about I want, where shitty woman love songs are a series of self-important, unrealistic maneuvers they want this winner dude to do for them while they bring nothing to the table. Shitty male love songs are more like shopping lists of physical and personality features, and then complaining vaguely about not getting what they want. Again, the question is, what do you bring to the table? But in both cases, in my opinion, these should not be love songs. On the woman's side, it is, I want you, so here is a strategy guide of things I want you to do or you'll need to do to get me, to make you worth having me, even though I'm the one who wants you to throw away everything good you have, while I fucking do nothing other than exist. And on the men's side, I want everything, but I don't want to do anything. Same idea, a little more straightforward and whiny. In neither case is it ever expressing how someone makes you feel, how much you like them. No conditions, no demands, no contract negotiations, not even what the other person brings to the table versus what you bring to the table. Just an appreciation for a person. That's the sort of love song I like, and that's the feeling of love I like, even if it's unrealistic. Which is sick to me, by the way. This fact that appreciating someone is is unrealistic. I'll link a few songs in the description. Love songs that I like. The third one, a little bit less, but same idea. It is adoration. It is the equivalent of a fat seal lying on its side on a beach, and you really like the seal, so you're hosing it down with water. I think glazing might be the word, but we are rapidly approaching out of touch with the kids, youngish professor age, so maybe I'm using that word incorrectly. And the reason these sorts of songs and this sort of love appeals to me is twofold. One, on the receiving end, boy does it feel good to be a fat seal getting hosed down with affection. No conditions, no expectations. You don't need to lock in. You don't need to set yourself into sports mode. You don't need to be holding your gun under the table, dealing with this person you are supposed to have positive feelings with. All you do is be loved. And then, on the flip side, the entire reason we've built up to this is the other end of this. When you are the one adoring, when you are the one with the hose, hosing down that wonderful seal. As much as I love receiving adoration, I really enjoy doing the adoring a lot more. There's an ecstatic element to adoring someone. Done right, it feels religious. We talk about the religious and transcendent aspects of lust. Lust is ecstatic, but love is its own sort of ecstasy, is its own transcendent path. And that's probably the sub in me talking, but that doesn't change anything. It is still the case. There is something self affirming in affirming someone you love. The more you hose them down, the more you are hosing yourself down. But the reason this is the final stage, the ultimate stage of love, is because of how difficult it is, or how quickly things can go wrong. And actually, before we get into that, if you want to go take the cynical, egotistical point of view, which is probably correct, in this stage of love, in the adoration, you're adoring someone way, what you're really doing is turning them into a canvas upon which you can express yourself. It really has nothing to do with them. You're as fucked up as everybody else is. You have just turned somebody into a canvas. It's the same thing as the dumb bitch wanting someone to be an actor, except you don't even want them to have agency in your play. Just stand there and take it. But really, who gives a shit? This is simple, or should be simple, and it feels really good, so I'll come up with any excuse necessary to justify it and make it easier by noospheric massaging to get what I want. And thinking more about the direction we're heading, it really is all selfish. The reason this final stage is so difficult is because of how quickly conditions can be applied to it. And the issue with that, well, okay, that is shitty. It's as shitty as it was when we first started talking about it. It does detract from love in the same way we were talking about it. But also, The reason it's obnoxious is it detracts from your ability to do love the way you like doing love, which is hosing the seal without being interrupted by pesky things, including whatever it is the seal might want. Now, we will defend ourselves here by noting the fact the seal can do whatever it wants. The seal can even go back into the sea if it'd like. It doesn't change your joy of hosing them down, but it is still inconvenient for your expression of love. And thinking further about it, if you can still love hosing the seal down and the seal isn't even there, then is that love? That's just emotional masturbation. You are spraying your hose at the idea of the seal. That's fucked up. Well, this entire video I was trying to make some holier than thou point about love, and we've crashed and burned utterly. If anything, all we've done is establish that love has nothing to do with the other person. It's all about you getting to enjoy the way you feel, however you feel it, about interacting with someone in a way you prefer to interact with them. In all forms, it is cuddly domination. You know, this happens sometimes, but I was not expecting it to happen here. On the love video. But this is why you do videos. Because you don't... You get so... You entrench yourself in a conceptual idea, and then you don't realize the implications until you actually talk through it and investigate it outside your diagram that you made in your head. And that will be our concluding cope for this video. None of this changes the fact love feels good when you get to engage in it the way you want to. And there are people out there whose love diagram matches up with yours, despite it ultimately being a selfish affair, however you play it out. Such as in the songs in the description. I can't get over how wonderful that Delicious Brown song is. In both hearing that adoration sent, being the one sending it, and receiving it. Thank you for the sunshine. What a tender sentiment. That's our concluding cope. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.